Have you ever wondered what it really means to destroy something? Not just buildings, but memories. Not just walls, but lives. This is the story of a man who built his success on ruins, the one night that forced him to face what he had truly been destroying. Arthur Klein was the most feared man in Birmingham, Alabama. People didn't say his name with respect, they said it with silence. For over 20 years, Arthur ran the largest demolition company in the state. Old neighborhoods, family homes, historic streets. If it stood in the way of development, he erased it. More than 3,000 buildings gone. He used to say it proudly, ruins are the most beautiful view. Every piece of debris is the end of an old story, and I write the ending. He wore expensive suits, drove a Porsche with the license plate bulldozer. On his office wall hung a photo of a destroyed neighborhood. He called it my canvas. To him it was business, clean, simple, profitable. And when people begged him not to take their homes, he had one answer: this is business, not charity. Your feelings are not in the contract. He believed that until one night proved him wrong. In November 2010, Arthur got a new project. Smithfield, an old neighborhood with deep history. 120 homes, soon to become a shopping center. Most residents accepted the deal, but 6 families refused, and one man refused harder than anyone. Eli Washington, 73 years old, lived in the same house for 50 years. His home wasn't worth much money, but to him, it was everything. He sat on his porch every day with a sign. This is not just a house. This is my life. Lawyers failed. Negotiators failed. Even his pastor failed. Eli said only one thing: my feet grew in this ground. You can't pull them out. Arthur lost patience, so one morning at 4 a.m., he made a decision. He sent in the bulldozers. In less than 1 hour, Eli's home was gone, reduced to wood, dust, and broken memories. Arthur stood there, lit a cigar, and said, efficient. Prepare for the lawsuit. He can't afford to fight. Then he drove away. He didn't look back. That night, the storm came. Heavy rain, strong wind. The kind of storm that feels like something is being washed away. At 11 p.m., Arthur got a call. Boss, something's wrong, that old man. Eli. He's standing on the ruins. Won't leave. Arthur cursed and drove back. When he arrived, rain was pouring like needles from the sky, and there, under the harsh lights, stood Eli. No umbrella, no coat, just a thin shirt, soaked completely. He was standing on the broken ground, like it still meant something. In his hands, a photo frame. Arthur walked closer. Are you crazy? He shouted. You'll get sick. Eli didn't look at him. He looked down, quietly said, do you know where I'm standing? Arthur said nothing. This, Eli said, is where my wife took her last breath. Arthur froze. Her name was Lucille. 43 years together, she died right here, on this spot. The rain fell harder. Eli pointed to another pile of debris. That's where my son learned to walk. He fell there. Broke his tooth, and his mother cried while I laughed. Arthur felt something tighten in his chest. And over there, Eli's voice shook. That's where I sat every afternoon. Watching the sun hit the oak tree across the street. I planted that tree the year I got married. Arthur turned. The tree was still there, standing alone in the middle of destruction. Eli looked at him for the first time. You say this is business, he said softly. But for me, this is my whole life. Then he said something Arthur would never forget. You'll go home tonight, drink your whiskey, sleep well. But tomorrow, I will stand on this broken ground because this is the only place I have left. That night. Watching Eli stand in the rain all night until finally, the old man collapsed. Arthur ran to him. His body was burning with fever. Arthur carried him to the hospital, paid every bill. And for 3 days, he sat in silence outside Eli's room. No phone, no business, no deals, just thinking. On the 3rd day, Eli spoke again. When I was young, this was the best black community in Birmingham. Doctors, teachers, families. He paused. My father bought our house for $800 after the war. He told me, a man's home is the wall of his kingdom. You can tear down the wall, but you should never erase the kingdom. Arthur lowered his head. For the first time, he remembered his own father, a a factory worker, lost his job, lost his home, died with nothing. Arthur whispered, "My father never had a place to call his own." And suddenly, it all made sense. He wasn't just destroying buildings, he was destroying the very thing he'd always wanted a week later. Arthur made a decision that shocked the entire city. He stopped the demolition. Not only that, he paid to rebuild every destroyed home, exactly as they were. He built a small museum in the center of the community, filled with rescued items, photos, stories, memories. And at the entrance he wrote, "I spent 20 years learning how to end stories. One night taught me how to respect them." 2 years later, Smithfield reopened. Eli sat again on his porch, across from the same oak tree. A live home. Arthur stood far away, watching. Eli walked up to him slowly. They shook hands. Arthur said, "I'm sorry, not as a businessman, but as a human." Eli smiled. "You didn't just rebuild houses," he said. "You built something bigger, a bridge." Arthur sold his Porsche, changed his business from destroying to restoring. He made less money, but he slept better, because he finally understood. Success is not measured by what you take down, but by what you choose to protect. Sometimes the strongest people are not those who build fast, but those who learn to rebuild what they once broke. And here's the truth most people never realize. The moment you stop seeing people as numbers, it's the moment you start becoming human. Years later, Eli passed away peacefully in his home. On the same spot where his wife once lay, Arthur attended the funeral quietly. At the end, Eli's granddaughter gave him something, the photo frame, restored. A young Eli and Lucille standing in front of their new home. On the back it said, "You gave me a second home. I gave you a second life. We're even." Arthur hung that photo in his office and turned his old canvas to the wall, because he finally understood. The real canvas was never land. It was people. If this story touched your heart, remember this: success is built in small steps. Sometimes the greatest strength is empathy. And the moment you understand others is the moment you truly grow. Like this video, leave a comment, and tell me what you think. And subscribe for more stories that change the way you see life.